Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 3rd of May, 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we bring you the 5 news items that happened today that you need to know about. Let's jump into it. Story number 1. The Reserve Bank lifted the official cash rate for the first time since 2010 this afternoon, with mortgage rates expected to start rising within days. Rising inflation and pressure in the labour market, with an unemployment rate of 4%, has convinced the central bank to move on rates more than 18 months sooner than it was forecasting late last year. Governor Philip Lowe said the board of the bank decided it was the right time to withdraw some of the extraordinary monetary support that was put in place during the pandemic. He said the economy had proven more resilient and inflation had picked up more quickly than expected. There's also evidence that wages growth is picking up, and Governor Lowe said there would be more rate rises in coming months. Story number 2, financial markets reacted quickly to the lift in interest rates. The S&P ASX 200 tumbled nearly 40 points in the minutes after the announcement before clambering back somewhat to finish down 0.4% to 7,316 points. It had been trading higher earlier in the day. The Aussie dollar had been trading lower but jumped 1 cent against the US dollar after the announcement. By the end of the day, it was trading around 71.1 US cents. In terms of sectors on the ASX, the tech and healthcare groups did best. They're the ones that are supposed to get hurt most with higher interest rates. But most of the rate news had already been priced in. As a result, those two sectors did pretty well. Real estate and material stocks did worse today. Among the large caps, Fortescue was the worst performer, down nearly 5%. At the other end of the spectrum, Xero was up nearly 2%. The banks were mixed. Woolworths closed up 0.5% after saying sales had jumped 10% during the March quarter, in part due to higher prices. Story number 3, Australia's third largest company, CSL, said plasma collection levels are back to pre-COVID levels, but donor fees have had to increase to encourage people to come in. CSL expects to make a net profit of around $2.2 billion this year. Its share price was up 2.3% today at one point. Then we got the rate announcement. In the end, it closed 1.3% higher, easily the best of the large caps. Story number 4. The Star Group's former CEO, Matt Bekier, spent much of the day answering questions about why the gaming giant should keep its licence in New South Wales. There's so much in this testimony, it's worth having a look yourself. But let me give you some of the highlights. The first, Mr. Bekier directly approved billionaire property developer Philip Dongfang Li's withdrawal of more than $22 million using his China Union Pay card over 3 days, but didn't ask the anti-money laundering team to check the source of his funds. He agreed it was an extraordinary amount of money to withdraw on a debit card, but said it was acceptable provided it didn't break any laws. Number 2, according to the Financial Review, Mr. Bekier also conceded he let the Star's controversial China Union Pay scheme occur. He blamed Star's breach of both the CUP, that's the China Union Pay scheme, and the Casino Control Act on the fact the scheme was an accepted industry practice. Later in the day, he agreed it was very clear that National Australia Bank was trying to find out the true purpose of some hotel transactions made on its bank cards and that the Star's response was misleading. And finally, Mr. Bekier said he made the wrong decision to allow a high roller to gamble at the Star Sydney Casino, even though he was warned the high roller was reportedly under investigation by the federal police for money laundering. The inquiry goes on and on. Finally, story number 5. European Union regulators have charged Apple with breaking competition law by abusing its dominant position in mobile payments to limit rivals' access to contactless technology. According to the Financial Times, Brussels is concerned about Apple preventing competitors from accessing tap-and-go chips or near-field communication to benefit its own Apple Pay system. This is a very familiar complaint in Australia, with local banks making similar claims that Apple restricts third-party access to key technology necessary to develop rival mobile wallet solutions on Apple devices. There'll be a few bank CEOs very interested in the outcome of this one. That's it for the afternoon report for Tuesday, the 3rd of May, 2022. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Wednesday Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.